You know what the doctor said? You're not supposed to get whiskey in your eye.
New for 96. With your hosts, Kevin McCauley and Chris Nguyen.
Do the British say meter with an R-E?
Yeah,
Miter?
probably.
That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Off the
And
charts.
they measure the heartbeats in kilometers.
Yeah. kph.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even... Do you know how to, read blood pressure?
Blood pressure.
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of.
I understand beats per minute.
Right.
I don't know it's like they're looking at the watches,
Yeah.
but I don't know what they're counting. Is
Um,
it over a minute?
I don't know.
If this were an emergency situation where you'd have to take my pulse,
Mhm.
I would have no confidence in you saving my life by way of reading my pulse.
Yeah, it's a chance I'm willing to take.
They do it all the time on TV. What
Yeah.
if it's like paint meter readings where no one actually understands what the numbers mean? They're just like, "Yep, that looks pretty good to me."
Jordan and I have done paint meter readings
I saw.
recently.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole
It's a real
production.
racket.
You're welcome for practicing on my car.
Oh.
Oh
yes.
yeah, that's right. Even though we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also returned that paint meter.
I bought the same kind that you got.
Did you?
Yeah.
There's no way to know if these are accurate.
It's not about the accuracy, it's about the consistency.
Yeah.
You're just trying to show it's 8 mils here and here and here, and this is 8.7, and this is it's if one is 14 or one is 3, then
Yeah.
those are
What if the whole car
red
has been
flags.
resprayed?
That's a
What
possibility.
if the whole car has been Bondo'd? Every single panel has been Bondo'd over every square
But
inch.
it wouldn't be bonded over the same amount.
Maybe it was an artisan Bondo.
It's just a bigger
expert.
car. It's just 2% larger in every dimension.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfectly evenly.
Yeah,
You see the clay car and car
Yeah.
designs in the
exactly that.
prototypes
When
the
they're cutting
clay.
it down.
It's like that, but Bondo over an existing car.
Yes, exactly. So you get 2% more car.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Would you care if you were a buyer of an auction?
If I was buying a car that was a block of Bondo with a car underneath it,
It's an extra layer of protection.
it would probably weigh a lot more.
I think it would weigh a lot more. Yeah.
It'd be very less durable.
Yeah, I think so too. I guess it would make it easier to continually add Bondo to it.
That's an underrated attribute.
Yeah, I think so too.
The ability to add more Bondo.
See, no one takes this into account. I bet someone has done that at least once.
Poorly.
The people in the bad auctions.
It probably looks like a paper mache
yeah.
thing when it
You mean it's just ruffled?
yeah.
I think you can make it smooth.
You could make it smooth, but I don't think you could get it
It would be lumpy.
evenly. I don't think you'd get it evenly. I want to add 3 millimeters of Bondo evenly across the whole car.
Do you think you could make it distorted? You could make it look like it was actually different perspectives, so it would look like you were looking at it straight on at 3/4.
This sucks.
This is improper
This
Bondo usage.
Yeah.
But the people, it is a little bit annoying sometimes. I understand it. I mean, having seen countless auctions, there are just classically annoying comments, and to me one of them is when someone's like, well, the hood is classically 0.55 nanometers. I'm like, how do you know this? You don't know this.
Sucks.
Yeah, especially on a hand-built car or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm suspect of their expertise.
Yeah.
I think some people just like hearing the sound of their keyboards clicking. So
I think that is very much the case. Well, I
Yeah.
think also when people are like, "Oh, can we see some paint meter readings?" It's like, "Oh God,
what are you
really
gonna do
have
with
nothing
this? Yeah,
to do."
exactly. Or they're just, I don't know, there's somehow always just people new to the online auction world, even though it seems ubiquitous at this point.
What is the worst kind of bring a trailer comment?
I'm annoyed by why are you selling it only after 1.5 years? And it's
Yeah.
this is people constantly sell the same car and bring a trailer over and
Right.
over because this is just what automotive enthusiasts do. try
Yeah.
out cars, basically.
Yeah.
But it's like Craigslist style questions. It's
Yeah.
just so annoying because, I mean, it's not to say that there aren't valid, typical used car questions, I suppose, but like just filling the comments with like dumb things is
Yeah.
distracting. And I'm sure like super annoying for the person running the auction.
Half of the there was like a big high profile. God, it was like a month ago now, but there was more than a month ago. That Carrera GT auction, the red one, I think maybe.
Oh my God. Okay.
There was a million comments.
Yeah.
Half of them were people that were like, "I have a Carrera GT, and let me tell you,
Okay. That is the most annoying.
It's a good car.
That is
It's
the most
oh,
annoying.
I thank my lucky stars every day that my wife lets me have one parked in the garage, and sometimes I just go out and I'll put the miles on it. I don't even mind. I put the miles on a Sunday morning because it's
Yep.
such a nice drive. It's worth it for me as an
Ah.
enthusiast. It's worth it."
That is
This is the
perhaps
worst.
the number one, like worst
People that
kind of
just have to get
comment.
in their 2 cents that adds nothing to the auction
Yeah.
except that say that this car's good because I have one. And did I mention?
Yeah,
I
I want
have
you to know
one.
about mine. I'm not going to comment on the car that's for sale.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to contribute
I'm not
to
gonna
the
bring
experience.
I'm not going to bring any objective expertise into this at all.
Yeah.
No.
That's every single 911 auction.
Pretty
like,
much.
half of the comments are just like personal experiences. It's just, but they tell the same story in every single auction.
I
So
think I'm like paraphrasing like Jordan or something, but the comment will be like, "Oh, I have one just like this, except it's different color and different interior
my
and different
God, yes.
spec, and it's also a convertible automatic."
I get so angry when I see the like count, like the like count, like what they have liked and how often they have liked a comment, and there are some that are like in the hundreds of thousands.
What?
And I don't understand how you have this much time, but that person is also commenting
No,
uselessly.
the like. I thought the like count is how many likes they've gotten.
No, I think it's how many times you have liked.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, there's no way to verify this.
There's I think it's how many times your comments have been liked.
No, because I've seen them, like, maybe not in the hundreds of thousands, but definitely tens of thousands. And there's just no way that someone who has made an annoying comment has received this many likes over the course of like 5 years or however long Bring a Trailer's
If you
been
leave
around.
enough comments that are just like milquetoast, boring, dumb comments, like they will get
We'll have to
likes.
verify this because I'm almost certain that it's the other way around, that
I
it's
think
like
it's-
how many times you have liked something.
Don't think so.
Because that's why I'm so annoyed that there's just so many, they've liked so many things. I don't know why you would have a like counter going in that direction or like the other way around. Honestly, it's annoying both ways. So,
It is the most like meaningless stat, but
but
I guess
it is inevitable.
I guess it is like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But the comments on cars and bids, way more annoying. I mean, like, I don't pay attention to that site as much as Bring a Trail, but sometimes an interesting car will pop up. And I swear, like, because it's everyone coming over from the YouTube channel. And so you have a large contingency of people who say, like, well, when I can drive, I'd love to have one of these. And it's like, wow, this is you're not going to get a lot for your whatever special car this is on this side. Cars and Bids certain cars do really well over there, but for some reason, like 911s, like air-cooleds don't do very well over there.
What does well? Like
Just like
Altimas?
outwardly special cars, I guess. I don't know. I don't have any specific examples, but anyways, how is Europa Limited going?
Don't think we talked about it last time, did we?
I think we might have brought it up.
Okay, well,
Summarize for the
Jordan
folks.
Remelier, friend of the show,
Rumelad.
Remeljej, of Modern Air Cooled, and I are doing car consignments, and he has customers, and I can present cars to make them look good, and he can tolerate the comment section and running the auction, and so we make a good partnership selling cars on BAT. So we have just sold our second vehicle. It was a 993 Carrera 2, and it went well.
Yeah.
It was good. It was presented to me as being like this pristine car, but it was like a lived-in car with like medium-ish miles, 60, 70,000 or something.
Yeah, you did a good job of photoshopping out all of the fast food containers on the floor. I could barely tell they were there. The cars are presented very
Well,
nicely.
Jordan added all of those.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. It was like a nice like driver 993, which is they
Yeah.
should all be driven,
Yeah.
and it was great.
And for a driver 993, it did fairly well, right?
It did well, yeah.
Yeah.
It did well. Like Jordan was really good at being attentive with the comments and you know, answering questions and
Yeah.
just being present. I
I
mean, more than being present, but that's part of it. But being present, being informed and educated
Yeah.
and
Even though
it was good.
I've not utilized your service, I did leave a 1-star review
Thank you.
out of spite
Okay.
for you telling Jordan to look at my Bring a Trailer auction from when I sold my 3 Series wagon,
Yes.
and saying this is
Yeah.
how you don't run an auction,
Oh yes. Oh okay. I thought.
which I took high offense to because I thought I was extremely personable in the comments, and you took umbrage with that approach.
You may think that Chris is doing a bit, but this is an actual.
Yes,
This is an actual thing.
this is
that
actual outrage.
I did tell Jordan not to do this.
Yeah.
You were very clingy.
I was not clingy.
You were.
I don't know what that means. How are you clingy in an auction comment section?
You even
I
went when that car went on
questions.
Cars and Bids. You
Yeah.
even went on Cars and Bids and were doing the same thing, but it wasn't even your auction.
There was a question about the spacer sizes, and the guy didn't know, so I chimed in.
Of course you did.
I chimed in because I still care about the car.
Didn't you link to the bat auction and they deleted it?
I
or
did
something?
not. Someone else did.
And they deleted it.
Yeah, they deleted it.
Like this, like Craig's
Cars
and
and-
Bids.
Yes.
Craig Bids.
Craig's Bids. Deleted it. And the comment was just like, hey, the photos are like way better in the original auction. JIC, you want to like see the car, what it looks like? Because the guy shot it in like dimly in overcast light. So the car didn't even look like the color that it actually was. So, but yeah, they did not care for the historical references, which is unfortunate. But the
Curious.
car sold for exactly the same amount.
Wow.
Plus $300.
I
So,
wonder if it's like gone up again, or if the original owner, or if the new buyer kept it. 'Cause I bet it would sell for more now. I don't know if the market for those. Are you still Of course, you're still watching the
yeah,
market for those.
That's the burden I carry. Is that I keep track of the market for every single car I've ever owned. It's very time consuming. And yes, they have. It's seemingly so, but again, I don't know if this is like the used car bubble or just that everything seems to be going for an extreme premium on auction sites nowadays
Yeah.
for whatever reason. It just seems like everyone's like grabbing what cars they can as soon as they get listed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I mean, maybe that fear is real considering that.
I mean, it seems to be industry wide and not just auction sites.
Yeah.
It's just that's like the more lightning rod that we see, but like it does seem like it's like a general that is affecting the prices on everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Except for the cars that like I find like interest in potentially buying.
Yes.
Because I've been seeking out terrible ideas as of late, and for some reason those are not worth anything still.
Yes.
And
That's how you know it's a good idea.
I know.
A sound investment.
So I had recently been like, I don't know where this idea came from. I mean, I've always wanted a P38 Range Rover.
Naturally.
And, yeah. I mean, like in the 90s, like I was obsessed with it because I don't know, it just looked so cool to me. And I loved that it had like air suspension that would go up and down, et cetera, et cetera. And so I've always had a love for those cars, that body style in particular. But it has a storied reputation of perhaps not being the most trouble-free car to maintain. And I think I have calloused over as far as my sensitivity to unreliable cars, and so I don't think it's that bad. Like there's nothing too catastrophic. It does suffer from like head gasket issues where it will destroy the engine.
Who amongst us? I know that the discoveries of that era have those head gasket issues because I read a
same
David
engine.
Tracy article.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, the same 4-liter or 4.6. I think they put the 4.6 in the Discovery too, but mainly those were the 4 liters. And anyway, but it's just preventative maintenance in theory. I'm rationalizing
What
this
is the preventative maintenance?
to do the head gasket very like prematurely, basically.
Okay.
So of course there are people like in the forums that are like, oh no, you just wait until like there's some oil coolant mix and then you do it. But by then it may be too late.
I
So.
see.
But anyways, here's the thing. It started off as sort of just casually, jokingly looking at listings, and
Yes.
then all of a sudden it became like an everyday search for one.
Yes.
And I like pristine ones go for way too much. They're in like the mid 20s, low 30s now for like super low mileage
And
ones.
just as susceptible to head gasket.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Probably
yeah.
more.
Yeah, regardless of mileage, I am sure. But I found one in California. I have my eye on it. It's a 4.0 SE.
Have you messaged?
I've messaged.
You have?
Yeah, unfortunately I have messaged, which means like the ball it starts a rolling.
Yep.
And it usually takes me a few months to begin the process of destroying my life with a bad idea. But it looks really good. It's silver, which
Yeah,
normally
it looks really good.
I would say I want a color still. I
Yes.
don't own cars that are colors.
Between the two of us, we have
Yeah,
5
gray,
or 4
white,
monochromatic
silver,
cars.
white. Yeah.
Yes.
And so this is silver. So it's not like I mean, that car didn't really come in. There were a few. There was like Woodcote Green, which was a special edition green that
There was the yellow, like I saw
there's the Borrego Yellow.
last month on the Golden Gate
Yeah,
Bridge.
which was cool. And then there was like a couple of reds that were kind
Yeah.
of cool.
Michael Jordan had the red.
Yeah, yeah. But those are far and few between. It seems like everything was either black or silver wasn't that common. I don't think in these.
It's very striking looking.
Yeah.
In the photos.
It's very clean. Like it's slab sided, and
Especially
for
with
some
those
reason,
wheels, the
yeah. So it had
Mondials.
the Mondial wheels
They're so good.
from the 4.6. So it just looks good. It was really clean in and out. The Carfax had some service history in it, so it looks good. It's well priced. It's got 174,000 miles on it. So I don't know if that's a bad or something I should be worried about, but
You're gonna put no more miles on it.
probably not. No. See,
Yeah.
this was the thing. Like when with the Land Cruiser, like I was not bothered by the fact that like most of them had high mileage, but these, I don't
This
know.
is the opposite
Yeah,
of a
and it
Land
has the
Cruiser.
air suspension still.
because
So
it's interesting.
because I want to keep the air suspension too,
Yeah,
even though I said that I'd never want a car with like
Yes.
non-steel suspension
Yes.
anymore because I don't want to deal with air suspension or just like special suspension.
Yes.
And like the Mercedes, every once in a while still throws like an airmatic error message.
What? It's called Airmatic?
It's airmatic.
God, that's so stupid.
You hate the matic part of any Mercedes nomenclature.
Yeah.
It's automatic air suspension.
Yes. Who
It's
knew?
so much more efficient to say airmatic.
Should we tell the viewers
Yes.
what they're listening to?
Oh, I guess.
Perhaps.
Hey,
This
maybe.
is another
Episode
dynamite episode of
new
for
96.
96.
Oh yeah. Right on the dot.
Do we have some quick take hot takes? This is a legendary segment.
Oh yeah, no.
that,
I don't even know if we need to call it that, but why don't we talk about some things that have been in car news
Sure.
as of late?
Yeah. And by late we mean the last month and a half.
In the last month and a half.
since
So
we recorded.
you've already read and thought about these topics, but here's what we think of them.
When you say you mean them, not me, because
Yeah.
I'm not aware of anything.
Wait, you're talking about you or me? And who is them?
Who's on first?
I don't know.
Okay.
This is horrible.
It truly is.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
the Escalade V.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing. I don't really understand it. Like it's a fast suburban, basically.
Yeah, but like to their buyers, they don't really distinguish between like a Range Rover and that maybe. Well, maybe they do,
Maybe.
but I don't know. Like I think to compete with that, you have to have
It-
a like supercharged fast one or
This
whatever.
is just me, but I think people who are looking to buy Range Rovers are sophisticated, smart, good looking, and very considered buyer versus the Escalade buyer. I say that because I'm looking for a Range Rover
I
right
know,
now.
but I think in that I think for it to compete in that upper strata, it just needs like more power. 'Cause GM's gonna,
I guess
it's
so.
gonna be
I mean,
GM.
It's already 500 plus, I think. But like the standard one, I don't know
don't
this
know.
for a fact, but
Yes, I don't either.
so I don't know if like they're gonna if it's gonna be a V, it's gonna be sporty, I guess, which is
It's
strange.
not gonna be. It's just gonna be more powerful. It's just gonna be like a supercharged Range Rover.
I want it to have
situation.
like a bone-shattering suspension, like it lowered on wheels that are far too large for it, which is probably the case
Yes.
as a standard feature. But anyways, I don't get it.
But
For smaller,
the Escalade is such a cash cow for them. It's like,
yeah,
how can we make more
sure.
money from this?
Well, I guess there is like I was trying to think like what the equivalent would be, and it wouldn't be like an X7M.
But there's like an AMG of whatever the GL is called now. The
GLS. The GLS. Yeah, there's a GLS 63
Yeah.
and a 53 and probably a 43, a 33,
33.
and a 23
It's actually
and a 13.
2.2
Yeah.
in the 23.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. And that one, I actually don't know what changes they make to the car, if they actually make it sportier or if they just put the bi-turbo 4-liter
I'm
in
sure
it.
they put more expensive brakes on it.
Yeah.
Like they're not making it into a real
Yeah.
performance vehicle. They're just making it more expensive and faster in a straight line.
Yeah, the Escalade to me always just seemed, I guess I always just look at them as like livery cars. Like they're just like uber blacks.
They're very
basically.
popular with people that aren't us.
I know.
And they charge a lot of money for them, and
I
they could
know.
charge more.
They're like
and sell
100
more.
plus.
Yeah, they could sell more of them at more money.
Yeah, I guess so.
And this is a way to do that.
Not for me to get. Okay, so on that topic, I know that you love talking about Toyota trucks.
Yeah.
So the Sequoia TRD Pro. So they're introducing a TRD Pro
Okay.
version of the Sequoia now.
Sure.
So this will be the extra off-roady
Yes.
version.
I have no comment. I don't care.
You hate it so much.
The Sequoia I always looked thumb my nose at it because it always seemed like American shovelware garbage just for America. Like
Yeah, it was the answer to the Expedition.
Yes.
Put a cap on the large truck.
Yes.
And call it a day.
Yeah.
I don't have a huge opinion on it either because I've never been on board with like the TRD Pro stuff is fine. Like
Yeah, but they could charge a lot more money for it.
yeah, exactly.
Again,
so
this is the same
just
thing. It's just
kidding out a
it's
thing.
It's the same different direction of
There-
the same fork as the Escalade V, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, what is a more profitable version of this thing?
There was an article, I forget which one where it came from, but they were just stating that since we're not getting the 300 series Land Cruiser, that this is the next best thing. And I'll argue that that is not the case, even though this is it probably, as far as like capabilities go, they are probably very close to each other. But like the Land Cruiser, I know you hate Land Cruisers because
I understand it's going to be a much more refined suspension and advanced. Like the suspension and everything is probably
hand-built. It's a hand-built
All right, let's calm
machine.
down. All right.
Jewel
Oh God.
of a vehicle. So, okay, we don't have to talk further about these. The T33. Very cool.
The Gordon Murray. It's GMA, Gordon Murray
GMA.
Automotive, even though it's also at one point GMD, Gordon Murray Design.
Yeah. Do people refer to it as GMD?
That's what like the social media and everything was like.
Oh.
It's like two companies,
Oh.
and for a long time, the public-facing presence was GMD.
Oh.
So it was like, when they weren't doing like, because Gordon Murray
Sure.
spent years just sort of like pitching this manufacturing technique and car concepts and to car companies and like, hey, we can produce this car for you, we'll design it, and it can be yours. And that was all under GMD, and then when you produced a car, it was under GMA, and it's a little bit confusing. But I think it's cool. I don't think it looks as good as the T50, the T33. It's
the type.
There are interesting things about it. I actually have not like studied it.
I did not know until recently that the T's, like, it stands for type. So
Yes.
it's Type 33. And it's cool that it gets the same engine.
Yeah.
So that's neat.
It's the last non-hybrid
Yeah.
Gordon Murray car.
Yeah. And they're planning on building 100 of them and then 100. Well, it's 100 each of a special.
Yeah. So
run.
it might be like a Roadster and
Yeah.
then like a LM or something.
Yeah. And it'll be not inexpensive, but not as expensive as the T50.
I mean, what is it, like $3 million instead
Something
of
like that, yes.
instead
like
of
2 or 3.
3.7?
Yeah. It's beyond the point where you can say something like $2 or $3 million. So yeah. That's base price though. That's without options.
Yes.
Yeah. Once you add the TRD Pro package onto it, that's really where they get you. So, and speaking of low production vehicles, although I don't know how low production this one actually was, but
Okay.
The BMW i3 is ending its production, and I'll be honest, I thought they had ended production like 2 years ago or longer, but they haven't. They have just ended it. Maybe, I guess worldwide. I
To
thought,
coincide with the 3G service ending on
yeah,
many
yeah,
of the
yeah. Their
many
their
of the
3G,
cars.
yeah, it has load-bearing 3G technology. So, and it's sad because this is like the last remnant of where BMW had like a good outlook on the
Where
future of
BMW
their
had like a
design.
vision for
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a hot seller, but I really liked it, and I still to this day every once in a while think like, oh, this would make a really good just daily
It would make
driver.
a really good daily driver.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, I mean it's a great car
Yeah.
and it was a cool design exercise, and it's such a shame that the company didn't build on it further and like expand this or anything. I mean, it's just like such a missed opportunity. I mean, I probably talked about on here, dealers dealers hated it.
Yeah.
Dealers did not want to sell it. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like the
They didn't
dealers
understand what it
sabotaged
was.
it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's uh
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, and
it is a shame what happened.
because it almost seems like what BMW or is doing with the iX is like they completely misunderstood what they were doing with the i3 and like
Yeah.
just turned it into this monstrosity that I mean, I don't like the way it looks. Maybe there are some people who like the way it looks.
It's objectively like worse packaging.
It is. Like they could have just made like a three or like an elongated i3 of some kind, and it would have
Yeah.
been, I think, better looking. And that's the thing is that like the i3 wasn't beautiful by
No,
any
it wasn't
means,
beautiful, but it was
but it was
like
interesting.
it was interesting, and
Yeah.
there's aspects of it that are really cool and good, and it was just it was such a smart packaging exercise
Yeah.
too, and that's not always beautiful, but it's just like there is beauty
But
in
it made
something that is
sense.
not compromised to look like a rugged SUV thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly
You
that.
know?
That's just it. It was a genuine exercise in which they weren't trying to make it into something.
Yeah,
And so there it goes, I guess.
there it goes.
Yeah. And I guess get them while you can, maybe. Although, like, I've heard both good and bad experiences that people have had with them. So I don't know how, like, if they actually would make for good daily drivers, but I would consider one if it was cheap enough. And they seem to be cheap enough nowadays to give it a whirl. But, anyways, okay, speaking of car designs, Singer has just come out with their version of a reimagined 930,
Yes.
a 911 Turbo G-body. So I think it's very cool that they are reimagining the G-body with impact bumper cars.
Yeah.
I think this car will be stunning in real life. Like the craftsmanship will be, classic Singer. Unfortunately, when I saw it, and I know I'm in the minority here, but because oversized Fuchs and projector beams, like eBay projector beams, are so popular now, like people just slapping them on to G models, at a glance, that's all I could see. Like overscaled eBay wheels and projector beams. I know there are so many other details
Sure,
to
yeah.
that car that make it what it is.
It's cool how they've like custom made like an impact bumper that
Yeah.
has, or the impact bumper look that
They
has
integrated, that, and various other
its own
details
lighting
too.
and stuff integrated into it very coolly.
Yeah,
Um,
and I just hate to say it, but like the aftermarket has claimed like the oversized Fuchs and projector beams.
we talked about this, and I don't think that you're right, because I think when you see a Singer, even in pictures, when you see a normal Singer, like the long hood style Singer,
Yeah.
like it doesn't look like anything else. It doesn't look like a normal resto mod, and
I
I
agree.
think this is going to have
Well,
the same effect.
So here's the thing too, is that with this car, so the with this car, it seems like they're making a not quite a resto mod so much as it is like a future interpretation of a 930 versus like the long hood ones. Like those actually look like resto mods where they were like, what if in the 1960s like Porsche could have kept making this car, and they made it into like an actual like supercar almost of that era at least. And so it seems like a logical extension of where that car could have gone if Porsche kept like pushing at it. Versus this car, it almost seems like a future interpretation. Like it looks futuristic to me.
I think that's just the style of the renderings.
Maybe.
Which were
So those are
apparently real photos.
that was the
or
real
whatever.
car.
But I
yeah.
think the style of the photos made it look like that. I think in person it would just look like a like ultra refined
Yeah.
G model with these Singer characteristics. I think it would look unmistakably Singer. My thing. Oh, did you notice that the shark fin on the side is like a scoop?
It is. Yeah.
It's so cool.
That's cool.
I love
like
that.
it's an
I
inlet,
love
right?
that. Yeah, it's an inlet, and it went to water-cooled heads, like a water-cooled heads like the 959.
Yeah.
And I asked Jordan why that was, or no, is it water-cooled turbos or intercoolers? Sorry, water-cooled intercoolers.
Yeah.
It might be water-cooled heads, but
Okay.
I asked Jordan and he said because they don't have to have like the big intercooler on top of the motor. You can put intercoolers in smaller places by having that water to air cooling.
Okay. Interesting.
And so when you have the full 930 setup, the later
Yeah.
930 setup, or a 993 setup, you have to have the giant intercooler on top of the motor, and then you have to have that wing for it. And so this has like the early 930 pre-intercooler wing
Yeah.
type, where it's basically like your wing,
Yeah. It's like the
the
thinner
thinner one.
T-tray, not T-tray, but just a thinner whale tail.
Yes.
With the two grills.
The
Does this
two
one
grills.
have two grills?
I think it does, yeah,
Okay.
or it spiritually does. It's that shape.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if it has two grills, but
I know. Imagine that's like what the inlets are for. It's maybe
Right.
ductwork to go to the intercoolers.
yeah, yeah. And then my last thing about this is they came out with like 2 years ago, like the DLS.
Yeah.
3 years ago, I saw it in Monterey.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked awful. It's like a old one, but with a bunch of shit all over it. It's
Yeah.
got like scoops. It looks like a Pagani
Ugh.
just in that the lighting, like the taillights and stuff, are all like very ornate. Everything is ornate. Everything is like, it looks like a body kit on a Singer. And I appreciate what they did. The motor was obviously amazing. That's like the motor they did with
Yeah.
Williams. I appreciate the mechanics of it, but I thought the styling was just such a miss
Yeah.
for me, for what I like about a Singer. And this is the 930 Singer is such a good course correction to me. I think it looks a million times better than that. And then this is like, oh, this is what I liked
Yeah.
about the long hood Singer.
I don't think it looks bad. Again, like I'm sure it will be stunning in person. But again, like I wish they would evolve some of these things that were kind of characteristic, at least off the bat, to Singer designs, like the projector beams. Like this would have been a great opportunity to do like a fluted exercise of some kind,
Sure,
of fluted
yeah.
headlight exercise,
Yeah.
and that would have been kind of cool. Just
But
because I mean,
but their projectors are not just like the standard, like
I thought they were like
nines.
hella.
No. They come from like a race car. Like they come from some kind of like LMP2 car
Yeah.
type of thing, which I think is cool. They're not like the normal like 911 spelled out brand.
Yes. Yeah.
Our email address.
Yes.
Headlights.
Yeah. I guess so. Like I'm again.
I'm with you on the Fuchs.
yeah.
I'm with you on the Fuchs.
I do
like,
hate that
it's
because
just a lot.
it felt now I can't imagine off the top of my head, but like that the original Singers, the wheels weren't overscaled, right? They were actually like
No.
reasonably sized. Like, they were actually maybe 16s.
No. They might have been
Maybe 17s.
They might have been 17s, but probably 18s, but probably 17s.
They also had like I feel like they had sidewall. However, it was
I
that they
don't know. Yeah, you might be right. It might be a little bit more. This
Yeah.
did look pretty extreme, but I thought it was a render, but I guess it's a photo. We should move to the next topic.
Yeah.
This is a hot take.
And then speak of Porsche expanding their brand, the Macan T.
Oh, I read that as Macant.
Macant, if you will.
Yeah.
So they have the 911T, they have the 718 Cayman T. I assume there's a Boxster T as well.
There's the Boxster T.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, okay, this could be kind of cool because the Macan is like, I think it's an attractive package.
Yeah.
And like, I think it tends to be sportier than its competition. And so this is meant to be like a lightweight, I guess a stripped down ish kind of thing. I don't think they do like the lightweight glass or anything like that. But
No, no, no.
so and it gets the 4 cylinder and cloth. So it's more of like a T line than
Well,
T,
the
I guess.
T, I mean, so the T on the 911, and I don't know anything about the Boxster one or anything,
Yeah.
but it's like you get the option to get some of these better upgrades, like the four-wheel steering or the
Yeah.
race seats. Like you can option those in the base car.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot that is inherently different with it,
Yeah.
except for that you can spec
Sure.
it better.
Yeah.
And this is maybe in the spirit of that, where it's like, oh, some of these cool racy bits for the base one with a theme.
So I wish they had done one thing because this one is clearly going to be like no one who's just like wandering into a Porsche dealership looking for a CUV of some kind is going to be like, oh, I'll take this one. I think this is going to be for, I mean, it's targeted towards someone where T is going to resonate with them. So it would have been kind of cool if they had maybe done this one with a manual. I don't know if they, like, the engineering is there, or the tooling and engineering
Like,
is there.
what would that? I don't even know what that would come from in the Volkswagen family, and
I
then
don't
you'd have
know.
a Volkswagen manual.
I mean, I would assume that maybe the Cayenne manual from the previous gen, maybe you could have,
There's no way. I'm
maybe.
sure it's a totally different architecture and
Anyways,
everything.
but I think that would have made this a little bit cooler because the car is going to be marketed towards enthusiasts of some kind. Like this is like you have a Cayman or a Boxster, and
Right.
this is a companion to that.
It's a companion. It's got yellow seatbelts.
Yeah, it's got yellow seatbelts. It's got pinstripe seats, which is cool at least.
cool.
So, and I wish they would do that more often as an option, or just make that an option on every car.
What are the pinstripes?
It's just like, I don't know. I didn't remember. I didn't pay attention to the detail, but it was just like an old 911 or an old Porsche of any kind.
Okay. Well, they probably will now. So like
Yeah.
the thing is, like, they have to, like, the reason you can't, when you spec, if you do a paint to sample or whatever, like
Yeah.
with Porsche, you can't just say like, oh, I want this interior. Like it has to be this like material that has to pass all their tests
Yeah.
and has to whatever. So like when they did the Houndstooth, that was a really big deal.
Yeah.
But that's a whole process.
Yeah.
So if they're introducing more fabric types like that, that is cool because they will definitely reuse them and spec them across
Sure.
lines and stuff like
Maybe-
that. Once they, I mean, like for lack of a term, federalize
Yeah.
one of these fabric types, then they can use it in more things. But it is like it has to pass like
Yeah.
a
Well,
million NCAP tests and
I'm
all this
actually
stuff.
curious if it's like a printed pattern or if it's
I think it is.
sewn.
Yeah, I don't think it's probably printed. I think that's how the Houndstooth is.
Okay, yeah, because I think on the old cars, the pinstripe seats, it was like a sewn stripe, which it would be like very tedious to do
Yeah.
en masse, I think, nowadays. So who knows? We'll have to check it out when it rolls into dealerships, maybe. Okay, so on more related Porsche topics, the Porsche boat,
Oh, so the freighter,
the freighter.
the cargo ship carrying Porsche boats,
Yeah,
or
so I
Porsche
didn't mean,
cars.
yeah, I didn't mean like a Porsche CUV boat
Yes,
is being
yes.
introduced.
The cargo ship carrying all these Porsches went on fire, and
Yeah,
a bunch of fancy people lost their fancy cars.
yeah. And I think it was also maybe some VWs and
A
just like
Lamborghini,
miscellaneous,
some Audi and stuff.
yeah,
Bentleys.
Bentleys.
Maybe not
Bentleys.
Volkswagen. Maybe just like the premium group things.
yeah. Which it's just crazy to me that nowadays something like that could happen. Something so catastrophic like that could happen,
Yeah.
where like it's not like the
Remember there was
Titanic.
a ship with like Mazdas that sank.
Oh
a
yeah,
couple
that
years ago.
capsized though,
Yeah.
or split or something like that.
You know what
right?
I always say?
Hmm.
Really, the best way to get your Porsche here is by cargo plane.
Yeah. Well, dear God, no one ask him what that's about because he's gonna relay a personal story. So
Do you have an hour?
It is a shame, but again, I'm really surprised that modern like maritime standards don't have like sectioned off. Because I don't know anything about boats, so this is all just like this is all nonsense. But I'm surprised they aren't like sectioned off so that if there is a fire, they can just close some doors and be done with it.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, or ejection pods or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then people really would. I was like 10 people 10 non-car people like sent that to me.
Oh my god.
Because the joke was just like, oh, like all according to maritime law, like, this is up for grabs now. So let's head on out there. Anyways, love to get non-car people involved in car topics.
Don't
So,
you? Yeah.
okay. Drive Tribe
Oh,
recently shut down.
Drive Tribe shut down. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a shame. You had posted a few things to
Well,
it.
I told you I spammed my videos onto the service.
Yeah.
I didn't post. I didn't write original content, but a lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like a lot of aspiring writers and things like that, wrote for Drive Tribe. It was a weird concept for a website where it was all user generated, kind of like, as you put it, like opposite lock.
Yeah.
It was all user generated. They had a small staff of people that wrote content, but they also like would boost posts from people to the main page and whatnot from just people writing and whatever. And I think it's kind of shitty that they just like, we're just shutting it down, but we're keeping our social media active because that generates revenue. Like, I understand this thing was losing money, but like, you should find a way to archive the stuff people did so people can point to like, oh, this is my portfolio, is like these things I did.
That has just been happening lately where people are just
how
taken
is
down.
web hosting still this expensive in 2022? And like, I understand like a frontline website where you've got a million traffic and news, like I understand it's expensive still somehow for reasons, but if it's a dead website and it's like you're not getting that kind of traffic, like, can't you host it somehow for cheap, just to have, we're talking a fraction of the users.
Angel Fire costs nothing. It could have been drivetribe.angelfire.com.
It could be.
Yeah. That is unfortunate. I mean, and that seems to be happening across certain, like other platforms too, where they're just kind of decommissioning old content. I mean, opposite lock, say for instance,
for example,
gone.
yeah.
And that is a shame. You could probably blame Jeff Bezos because all this stuff is on Amazon web servers, I am sure.
I hear it's really expensive.
It might be a little expensive.
Yeah.
Unless you have Prime. So, but yeah, that is a shame. I remember, I thought it was a little ambitious, the concept, as in like everyone's got a tribe and you just join this tribe. So basically a forum concept.
I mean, it was like a forum concept. It was kind of was like Google Plus with the circles or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing. Things evolve, like
Sure.
change, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying it was a successful site. I'm just saying it was a successful launching point for.
Well, people put effort.
A lot of people, they put effort into it, and I wish that was preserved. I wish they made effort to preserve it at all. And it's just like, nope, like this wasn't making money, so we're gonna shut it down. But we're keeping the YouTube active, keeping the Instagram active. Like, the YouTube makes us money. Like, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Use the YouTube to pay for cheap web hosting for the stuff there, and don't let people comment, don't let people add new stuff, and just keep it alive.
I mean, especially if like the concept in large part is user generated content, like,
right,
that's the least you could do, I guess.
It's the least you could do.
It.
I'm surprised there's not like a Google service that just archives in mass, like something for cheap.
The web archive.
There is the web archive, but I don't think that's covered in this.
Maybe not.
So, but I mean, I'm surprised that Google doesn't have a thing. But like, I don't know, like even
does
forums,
have a cache thing. It's weird, but it's not quite.
Even forums.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s, when they would die, there was an archival format of that, because you'll find that where it's like, oh, there's no pictures and it's like these weird threaded things, but you can usually find old forum stuff in this like low storage version.
It's weird,
and they
just
can't even
because
do that. It's just, that sucks.
I'm sure there are many mechanics involved, but
it's
I always
very
think like,
simple.
but there are many like forums and things that just like for people to post to, where it just seems to live on forever. And anyways, it's hard to say.
Yes.
Okay, so the Ferrari Purosangu.
So the photo of it leaked. It was silver.
Leaked.
It looked like a
tall.
It looked like a very racy Levante.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I think it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it unequivocally sucks because it
It's
will
gonna
not capture the magic of the road cars,
Right.
and it's like it is the gut punch of not only is Ferrari making a car that's not exotic and not like low slung and sporty,
Yeah.
but also like it has four-door, but also it's an SUV, and also it just looks like any five other things on the market.
And it will sell like hotcakes.
It will sell like hotcakes, and they will. I don't know. They're going to sell so many more of those than they do all their sports cars
They should have
combined.
made a GTC for Loco Cross Country.
They should.
That would have been kind of
Like
neat.
a Sport Turismo type of thing.
Yeah.
They will sell so many that yeah.
Yeah. And it is, I mean, it is what it is. They threatened to do this years ago. Well, they threatened not to do it, and then they threatened.
I don't even remember. Like, is Ferrari? I think is independent now. Like, didn't they break out from Fiat Chrysler?
I
think they
don't
did.
know. Did they?
I think so.
Well, then all the more reason why they had no reason to do this, but except that they want to cash in. So here we are. And
You always gotta sell more than before. But
Yeah.
this is the thing. It's like when Ferrari, like if Ferrari becomes a company that sells 4,000 cars a month,
Yeah.
like what is the where does that end? You know,
Yeah.
we never thought about this. Was one of these things that I kind of, and I'm not like an industry analyst, so people probably thought of this in 2003 when the Cayenne came out, but I never really grappled with this until the last few years, where it's like, oh, like Porsche went from this boutique brand to this company that sells, thousands of SUVs a month,
Yeah.
and you never go back.
Yeah.
You never shrink down after that. You have
no.
you've got to raise. So it's
There would
like,
be
oh,
a-
you've got to match. You had record numbers last fall. It's like, how
Yeah.
do we match that? Well, we got to introduce another SUV. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand. So like Ferrari is going to be in this trap of chasing volume. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not a way around it. Like, am I
It's-
exaggerating? Like, they're
No,
chasing
they will
volume.
have to do that. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be shared with other car. I don't know if
It'll be shared with the smaller Ferrari SUV that
well,
comes
that's
out
just
in
it.
3
So
years.
yeah, I mean, it's just like so. I mean, Rolls-Royce did this. They're the only other company. I'm trying to think like because that what does like
The
they're-
Rolls-Royce uses like the Ghost architecture or something.
Okay, because they're not going to make a smaller one of that necessarily. I mean, it's just
No, I don't think so.
so, and maybe that's the one exception to the trying to make money scheme, I suppose, or
I mean, it's all to try to make money.
Sure.
But yeah, I never see Cullinan, so maybe it's a flop.
yeah,
Or maybe it's
or
priced
it's
too
just
much
like
to be-
maybe it just made sense for them to fill that in the lineup as opposed to like okay, we're gonna well, it's so expensive anyways. It's not like it's going to introduce them to a new customer, I guess.
Well, but I mean, you look at the Bentley, and it definitely did.
Yeah, it did. Well, but then like that's shared. That platform is shared across like 4 or 5 different other cars. It was
Yes.
almost like a no cost exercise to
Yeah.
make that thing. So, okay, and that's pretty much it. The last thing I wanted to chat to you about, we didn't really talk about this, but
Oh no.
that weird Chevy spot. I did not watch the Super Bowl, and I believe you did not as well.
No, I did not.
Yeah, but there was that one ad. Did you see the Sopranos Chevy ad?
I did.
Yeah. Did you notice one detail in that?
That he was driving up in like a Chrysler Town and Country or something, or a
No.
New Yorker.
No. So, do you remember this? So they visit I guess it's supposed to be the restaurant that they
Yeah.
dined at in
Yeah.
the final scenes of The Sopranos. Did you notice who was parking the car?
It was Meadow.
It was Meadow in the commercial,
And
and she got it on the first try because of the 4-wheel steering.
right, and in the episode, spoiler alert, in the final episode of Sopranos, she's spending like 7 minutes
Yeah.
trying to park her IS 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if like that was a
It was definitely a nod.
yeah.
It was definitely a nod.
Yeah. I don't it didn't
That awful looking truck looked like a rendering.
it did
Like it looked like it was
yeah.
like a 3D model
Yeah.
parking. It's like, oh yeah, they're totally driving it.
Yep. Yeah. I was unfamiliar with that model, but it was fine. I
It's
just
the Silverado EV.
oh well,
It's based on the Hummer EV, so it will be 9,000 pounds and
Yep.
$130,000.
amazing. Welcome to the future.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we play another round of Fuke, Marry, Kill?
FMK,
FMK.
What are the rules?
Well,
And what's the year?
we pick a year.
Okay.
This year, this episode will feature the year 2009.
Wow.
This is the newest year that we have done to date. So,
It's a very special new for 96.
indeed. So, rules of the game are we pick 3 cars for each. So, I pick 3 cars for you and vice versa. And we choose which one to fuke, marry, and to kill. And 2009, I should say, since we'll be doing, there are a lot of cars.
Okay, so we skip through should we just like name the ones that are interesting to us?
Yeah, let's go through this list real quick here. In cars introduced in 2009, the ZDX Acura, the B6 Alpina, the E63, which I don't know what the Arteaga GT is.
Okay, I
What
said
is?
interesting ones. I remember that was like on Top Gear. It was like a rich guy thing. Anyway, the Aston Martin 177, I've seen a few of those.
Oh, the
The
Rapide.
Rapide?
Yep,
We drove one of those.
we did drive one of those. The
Whoa.
ball.
BAW Oishi.
Kishi.
It looks like a Cherokee.
It looks like literally a replica of a Cherokee.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
Best
Okay,
tune.
I thought we were
oops.
going to read the interesting ones.
All right.
The bad Z4.
Bad
Well, the
Z4.
first bad Z4.
Yeah, the X1, the
Oh, yeah.
E84.
The X1, which was for China only.
Yeah. No. This
I-
one came here.
What?
Yeah, this X1.
Did it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it made for China only?
It's possible, but we still got it.
Okay.
So,
This started as a bit, but it also is real, and I truly believe this. It was pitched to me by BMW as, this is a car, don't worry, this garbage is only going for China.
no, because we had the.
And then they sold it here. But they pitched it as like, this is only going to be sold in China.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And
Well,
then they sold it here too.
man, that first gen X1 had such terrible like proportions because it was just like a stretched E91.
It's weird that they modeled the rest of them after that.
Yeah.
After
Oh,
that
God.
seemed like a poor choice.
Okay. A lot of, I think, other Chinese market vehicles that we are
A lot
unfamiliar
of
with.
cherries.
A lot of cherries.
All right, let's.
Do you know what
The 5th generation Camaro. That was an 09?
I guess that was
Wow.
09. So, okay, 200C EV, which did not
That never
actually
happened.
happen. Yeah. I know that we're sticking to US market cars, but the Citroen
It was a concept car.
Revolte. Revolte.
Revolte.
Yeah. A bunch of Daihatsus.
Some Daihatsus.
Some Divsks.
The Ferrari 458.
You forgot about the Dongfeng Rich.
Dog. God damn it.
Yeah. Ford Fusion Hybrid. I remember actually when that came out.
I do too.
That's
Ford Raptor.
Ford Raptor. Ooh, yeah, Ford Raptor. Taurus 6th generation. Bunch of Geelys. A bunch of Geelys.
A lot of
GMC
Geelys.
Terrain.
Ooh.
Great Wall Florid.
Oh, the Honda.
That's a
Look at the
Yaris.
Honda HSV 010. That was the. This was what the NSX replacement was going to be, and then they canceled it. It was going to be a
Wow.
front engine V10 like the LFA,
Oh, wow.
and they built it, and they abandoned it at the last minute
Man.
because Honda has done a million gutless things in my lifetime, like
Yeah.
pull out of F1 11 times.
Oh, my God. Okay, you skipped over
The cross
more
tour.
important cross tour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have I told the story about the Facebook thing with the cross tour on here?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm gonna make this really brief. I'm sure I've talked about this, but
Mm.
when the cross tour came out, that was when I was reading like car blogs. So that was what in the heat of when I was reading it. So
Yeah.
like 2008, 2009, I was reading car blogs and stuff, and the cross tour was rumored, and all these people, these Honda fans, thought it was going to be an Accord wagon because
Yeah.
the way they teased it,
Yeah.
and then they revealed it, and everyone's like, "This sucks. I hate it. It looks like dog shit." And people were Honda employees were going into the Honda
Oh,
Facebook
yeah.
group.
Yeah.
They were going to the Honda Facebook group and they're saying they were not disclosing they worked for Honda. They were just like, "Oh, I think it's pretty spectacular." And they were just commenting like they love it. And then people were calling them out like, "This guy works for Honda." And it's just like it was like the most boneheaded, inept
That is hilarious.
early days internet stuff. I know 2009 is not early days, but it was
that like reminds that just like harkens to like what BMW was doing most recently about like the grills, just like I mean, I guess they weren't jumping into forums pretending to be
That we
like
know of.
yeah, civilians, but they were just like, look, you just don't get it.
You just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So clearly, you were in the wrong. Okay, so the Honda Insight also came out,
The bad one.
the bad one. Yep. Okay. Grand Cherokee.
Oh, the current one.
Yeah, the current one. Or
The current one until like a month ago.
yeah. Okay. The HS250H.
Ooh,
the
the
Lex is
hybrid's
so
so
nice.
nice. They named it hybrid twice.
Yeah. What is the Lincoln C?
Concept.
Mm.
It was a cool concept. The MK7 or T? T. Oh,
MKT.
MKT. Very
Ooh,
bad.
Yeah. It's funny. So, like, within like a few years after this, like they made it into like a normal size. Like this thing looks like an anteater. It is not good
I
looking.
don't even know they changed it.
Yeah. I guess it wasn't the MKT. Then it became whatever the small one was.
Okay, well then it didn't become that.
Okay, whatever.
That was their flex. The MKT was the flex.
Yeah. Okay. The
Weird flex, but okay.
yeah. The Evora,
Oh yeah.
the C207. Oh, that's the coupe. Oh, so this is the 212 came out.
Oh wait, so yours is the 212, not
Yep.
the 212, not the 213? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said
I was gonna
213,
correct you
yeah.
earlier on that, but
You should have.
it wasn't
honestly.
worthwhile being that asshole.
No, you should have because I was wrong.
Okay. So the F800 concept. What was this?
It was a concept. It
Oh, it was like the
previewed
CLS, yeah.
Infiniti Q60.
Yes. The Mini E came out,
Oh
although we
yeah,
didn't
I
get
remember
that.
seeing
Oh no, I
one.
guess
I
we got
remember
it in
seeing one
California.
in Brooklyn.
Oh really?
It was like New York and LA. Like they
Wow.
sold like 200 of them, or at least 200.
Okay. The IMEV.
I've driven one.
I have not.
Yeah. So
Uh,
unmemorable.
Yeah.
Unmemorable.
unmemorable. 370Z.
Wow.
Yep.
Current car.
Yep. Current car is right. Yeah.
I'm excited about the 400. I'm excited
Yeah.
about the 400.
Yeah. I think it will be interesting. Panamera came out then as well.
Do you remember when the Panamera came out and they like had that ad campaign where they it was shot by Jeff Zwart where they had all of them I think on like Mojave Desert.
Yeah,
or
I do
something.
remember
and
that.
It was like
It was
like
driving
the
through-
917 and like the Gammon 356 and all these things in the Panamera, and it just seems
and this
so
this
soulless.
whale egg
Yeah, it's like-
slicing through the air.
Speaking of whale eggs,
Yeah.
I saw like 5 EQSs yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I saw my dad yesterday. We got coffee and we
Yeah.
saw like 5 EQSs.
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like, that's an EQS. That's an EQS. And I was like,
Was
and
it a
he's like,
gathering or you just happened to see?
no, I just happened to see it like different times. Like we saw 2 in the parking lot, but then 2 around just driving.
Yeah.
And then I asked him, and my dad doesn't care about cars,
Yeah.
really, but he has like a passing interest.
Yeah.
And I said I was like, hey, have you seen this Hyundai Ioniq 5? He was like, oh my God, it looks so cool. He's like, I saw one. He's like, it looks so cool. It's amazing the difference. It's like, oh, well, this EQS, this costs 4 times the price.
Yes. And it looks like an
and it looks like an egg, and like it doesn't impress anyone. And the Ioniq 5 is just like, oh my God. Because
Yeah.
I mentioned it, and he knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah. That's so funny that he did. Even though this is not a US market thing, and I don't know if it's actually going to go into production, but my former neighbor who is not into cars knew that I was into cars, and like he stopped me, and we maybe just talked like a handful of times, but he just had to tell me about the Hyundai Grandeur,
Oh.
the concept. And
Oh.
I know, like, somewhat unrelated, but just that Hyundai is doing such interesting things that
Yeah.
non-car people are like,
Yeah.
hey, did you see this?
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, that concept was amazing.
yeah, the retro
Yeah.
styled thing, which I don't recall what it was based off of. But anyways, have been derailed. We have just but a few more cars here to go through. Legacy, 5th generation,
Yeah.
Subaru.
Oh.
The Kizashi?
Oh, the Kazashi. I've driven one of those. Too.
Yeah. How was it?
Unmemorable. But no, it was cool. It had a
Unmemorable.
6-speed.
Yeah, I
It
remember
had a
these.
6-speed. It had a manual.
This looked good.
It looked good.
Yeah. Okay. We didn't get any Tatas. Oh, this was the 3rd generation Prius.
That was a big deal.
Yeah. The Versa, which we did not get. Oh, this was just a Prius. Oh, no. Well, I mean, this one wasn't a hybrid, but this is the Prius 5, basically.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, it wasn't a hybrid?
This
The
one,
Prius 5 non-hybrid. That's so...
yeah, weird.
It's
It was
really
an
blowing my mind.
MPV. Okay.
Wait, is it the Prius 5?
Yeah.
I thought it was the Prius V.
Oh, I don't know. It was a Roman numeral. I always called it the Prius 5.
Well, it makes sense because it was the exact same like dimensions and segment as the Mazda 5,
Yes, that is true.
which
I don't
they
know.
sold. You know why they called it that?
Huh.
Because they sold 5 of them.
Oh my God. And you drove one of them and got into an
I
accident.
did. Someone backed into me.
Okay. The Rutan. Oh, the Rutan came out then. R.I.P.
Wow. Honestly, it feels like yesterday.
I know, doesn't it? And there's like a fan base for the Rutan too, which is
That makes no sense.
surprising. Okay, and that's pretty much it.
Wow.
So
That is a lot of cars.
that is a lot of cars.
A lot of cars.
All right, let's FMK this.
Ooh.
All right, you go first. You pick for me.
All right. Do you want good or bad?
That is up to you.
All right. BMW X1,
Mm-hmm.
Ford Fusion Hybrid,
Mm-hmm.
and Lexus HS 250h.
Wow, this is like you've given me like the choices that a suburban family would be making in 2009. Like, what boring car would you like to choose for your daily commute?
I've
I
already
guess,
forgotten what they were.
I know, me too. I think I will. So the X1 is basically a tall 3 Series. No, this one is maybe not. I'm actually not sure. I don't know. No one knows anything about the X1, not even BMW. But I'm going to go ahead and marry that one because it's probably at least a little bit fun to drive, maybe.
Yeah.
And I guess I will F the Fusion Hybrid because otherwise it'd be weird if my dad had an HS 250h, so that'd just be weird if I decided to F that one. So that one, off it goes. So those are my choices. Wow. Way to make some unexciting choices here. All right. For you, see, I'm going to be nice to you.
Ugh.
I'm going to choose A for asshole.
Hmm.
That is to say you. The Acura ZDX,
Okay.
the Alpina B6, and the Rapide.
This is the laziest shit I've ever seen. You just looked at
Oh,
You
yeah.
picked 3 out of the first 5 on the page.
I sure did.
I would. I would crush the Acura because that's my brand.
Mm-hmm.
My brand is
Wait,
being against Acura. I mean,
crush in a sexual sense or?
no.
Okay.
I guess I would. I think I would marry the Alpina.
Okay.
And I guess
Wow.
F the Rapide.
That is surprising,
Is it?
shocking.
That I sent the Acura to the crusher? That should be the most obvious thing.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. I would have thought that you would have married the Rapide since it's a little more usable, but
It's not usable.
it's a little usable.
It's not usable.
It has 4 seats. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I guess so does the B6, actually. They're basically the same. Well, 4 doors, I should say, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yes.
Anyways, all right. Another edition of FMK.
That's
And
it.
I think that might be a pod, too. So,
Is it?
yep. Afraid so.
Darn.
All right. Thanks for listening. Do follow us on
Instagram.
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 Instagram
New for 96.
at New496.
Send us an email.
Us if you must.
Email us at New for 96 spelled out.
All spelled out. And we do have a Twitter as well, at New496. Go there for
Occasional
occasional
updates.
updates. Thanks again for listening.
Bye.
Bye.